Who am I? I was born Mary Ann Woodward. No, Martinson. Erase it. Martinson in Gary, Indiana, June 27th, 1935.
So let's go back as far as you can remember. Do you know anything about your great-grandparents?
And there is an old story which I don't, somebody else said it wasn't true, but I don't know for sure, that my great-grandfather had been gambling, and he gambled and lost his house. And at that point,
and he had to move in
with his
son, his daughter.
His daughter.
His daughter.
Right.
Okay.
But somebody else said that wasn't true.
I see. Okay. So
We'll keep that.
That's right. We'll keep that story alive whether it was true or not. Mother worked for a family in Chicago. He was a hat maker in Chicago, a very wealthy family. She was like an au pair.
Okay.
And she did a lot of cooking and everything. It was a very wealthy family. And they obviously treated her very, very well, and she really enjoyed that very, very much. But Anna and my mother just had a wonderful time. They went ice skating, and mother had a Victrola, the old wind-up record player, and she would carry that with her to parks and things like that, and play music for dancing, and just had a ball. Mother just loved it. Just loved it. Yeah. They took Mother on an airplane ride. That would have been quite young. It was one of the open-topped airplanes.
Wow.
So Mother really enjoyed that. They also taught my mother how to drive, so she was driving in Chicago when not very many women drove, and Mother did. My father worked first in Minnesota.
So how did your parents meet? If he was up in Minnesota and then when Gary and...
they moved to, this was after Dad had moved to Gary, and they each went back home to Sweden on a ship to go back and visit family in Sweden. And I think it was on their way back from Sweden to the United States that they met on board ship.
They got married?
He was 30 when they got married. Okay. Mother was 27 and Dad was 30.
Okay,
Mother
so they were pretty old.
Mother said, never get married till you're at least 27. Yeah, she loved the free life. Yeah. And they lived in an apartment on Polk Street in Gary for a while before they built the home at 4266 Delaware Street in Gary.
So they built that house?
They built that house.
It's the old Sears.
It was one of the old Sears homes.
Oh,
yes.
really? Oh, nice. So it was a mail order house.
A mail order house, right. I was a couple years old when they moved in.
Okay.
I think it was right before Sonia was born. It was a very nice place to grow up. We lived pretty far from the mills, so we didn't have all the dust and dirt that you associate with the mills as much. The alleys were paved with the slag, which was the leftovers from the steel mills, the limestone that floated to the top in the blast furnaces, and that was sort of a crunchy type of stuff, and they used that to pave all the alleys. So that was, not pave it, but cover the alleys instead of gravel. You had slag, and we would run barefoot on that slag, which was very sharp. So my calluses on my bottom of my feet served me well. And we had wonderful sledding hill, fantastic sledding hill. Love to go sledding, yeah. It was great, and very cold. I mean, winters in Gary can be very cold. And beautiful beaches on Lake Michigan.
Did you go to the beach a lot?
Oh, a lot.
Like how, every week or?
Not quite every week, but almost, I think, during the summer. Yeah, we spent a lot of time at the beach.
What year did Winmore go blind? When was that?
I don't know exactly when, but probably the end of the 30s, they probably started noticing. I have no idea. I have no idea. We never talked about it.
But
I sort of knew something was wrong, but we never talked about it.
How did that affect your childhood? I mean,
it was just our household. You just adapt to whatever comes along, I guess. And
but
mother was able to do everything. We did have somebody come and do the ironing in the house for a while, but not for very long. Mother did all the washing, all the ironing, all the cleaning, all the combing of our hair. I always had long braids.
Did you have to do a lot more than your friends?
I don't think so, not at all. Mother was very proud of the fact that she could do everything. She was just wonderful, and remembered recipes, and I don't remember ever giving her a phone number. She always remembered all the phone numbers.
And she could dial the numbers on her own,
Right,
of course.
right. And telephoning and conversations on the phone were a very important part of her life, because she couldn't get out. And there was a lot of Swedish parties. Mother and Dad loved to entertain, so we had lots of parties at our house. And then some of the parties, they actually would have somebody come and play the accordion, or else they would play the record player in the basement, and there would be dancing. And Sonia and I would sprinkle wax on the concrete floor before the evening started so that the floor would be really smooth for dancing. And when I went back and saw our house and how tiny it was, it's hard to imagine all the people that they would have down there dancing. Swedish dancing.
So folk dancing.
Schottish, polkas, waltz, that sort of thing. Sometimes my sister and I and Mother would go, I don't know if we got there by bus or if somebody picked us up, and we would go earlier, and if my dad worked the late shift, he would come after his shift was over. Sometimes somebody would ask her to dance, and she'd go out dancing, and then they'd thank her very much and leave her in the middle of the floor.
Not knowing that she was blind.
Not knowing she was blind. Mother was able to cover it up. And then it was our job to go and rescue Mother from the middle of the floor. And no, she was a very nice dancer. There were certain things I remember we did to sort of keep up the pretense that everything was all right. So if we would go downtown or something like this, and we'd see somebody coming toward us that Mother knew, and I would say, oh, Mother, Mrs. Johnson is coming, and she's got on a beautiful blue dress, and it looks like she might have a new hat. And so then the person would come closer, and we'd sort of nudge Mother, and she'd stick out her hand to shake hands, and know exactly where that person was, because when she put her hand out, she'd know where the person was, so she could make eye contact. And she would say, oh, you look really pretty today in that beautiful blue dress, or something like that. So,
And even though that person knew she was blind?
No, it was surprising how many people did not know Mother was blind. Yeah, it was surprising.
When did he get into growing flowers? I mean, was that always something?
Oh, I think he grew up on a farm, and I think that he would have loved to have had a farm in the United States. I think that would have been one of his dreams, to have a farm. But I think with Mother becoming blind, I think that was sort of, not a possibility.
He became manager eventually, but he didn't always start as manager.
Right, no, he worked on the blast furnaces, just, the very basic introductory job, and after working very many, many years, he became the supervisor. And when he retired, that job was, you had to have a college degree in order to get the job, but of course he didn't have that. But he just grew up knowing what to do. Days he had off, we would go down and he could see the smoke coming out of the blast furnace, and he would know whether things were working well and whether good steel was made by the color of the smoke coming off the top.
Getting back to you and Sonia, things that you guys do for fun as little kids when you were growing up?
Oh gosh, we were free to play and run and climb trees, and played Indians and made our own bows and arrows, and
do you have a lot of playmates around in the neighborhood?
We had a lot of playmates in the neighborhood, yeah.
That's
particularly 3 girls that lived behind us, Patty and Wanda and little Mary Ann. As I said, sledding in the winter was just wonderful. We had good sledding hill. Dead Man's Leap, and
what's Dead Man's Leap?
We had all these different names for the hills, the little slopes. That one had like a little gully at the bottom with a little raise that went up, so that when you went down there, you go up and then you go flying over. Just coming home, and just our hands were just icy, and so we'd sit by the heater in the dining room, and it would they hurt as they were thawing out, but it was worth every minute. That was great. We had a good time. I did. And I also played basketball all through high school too for our church team. So I took the bus downtown and bus back home at night in dark, and ran home 4 blocks in the dark to get home. And
did you keep good grades in school?
Not great.
All right, edit that. We won't let the kids see that one.
I got 5. So, no, I was happy in school. It worked out just fine. I started working when I was really young. I did a variety of jobs. When I was 9, I was selling Christmas cards in the summertime. I'd go around and people and knock on doors and sell Christmas cards. not realizing that I had to deliver those cards when it was bitter cold in December and November, with my wagon, pulling my wagon for miles to deliver Christmas cards that I'd
But you
sold
did.
in the summer. Yes, yes. And then I did a lot of babysitting, and then I worked for a couple of dress shops, like after school when I got to be older, and Pete's dress shop particularly. I worked there.
Were you a salesperson or?
And then worked in the steel mills during summers and college, open hearts.
What was it like going to college?
I had never been there before. You know, I went sight unseen and never been on a college.
But you never applied to any other place?
No.
Never even considered going
no.
any place
And
else?
never had been on a college campus before in my life. And was dropped off at Augustana College in Rock Island, Illinois, and just had two roommates my freshman year. There were three of us in this one room, and we were in a freshman dorm. There were like 25 of us total in the freshman dorm, and we just had a wonderful time.
What did you study?
What did I study? Well, I got my degree in education, and with a sort of a geography minor.
Geology?
Love geology.
I didn't know that.
I took that I think my freshman year, and it was just a whole new world. Had a fantastic geology professor, Dr. Fricksell, who was very, very well known, and he was just an amazing professor. Yeah.
Did you graduate first in your class from college?
Pretty close. In those days, nobody kept track. It was an achievement to finish. After college, my parents sent me and my sister to Sweden for the summer. My dad really wanted us to dress up for this trip to Sweden. He wanted us to really impress the relatives in Sweden. So we had all the wrong clothes with us. I mean, it was just wild. Our relatives lived on the farms, you know, most of them. And here we came in high heels, and I mean, it's just a riot when I see our pictures of what we were wearing. And in fact, one uncle he and his wife had separated by then, but all her clothes were still there. So we got to their place, and we ended up wearing her clothes that were there. We just had a fantastic time. And the ship both ways was about close to a week, I think on the ship, you know, which was more like today's cruises. And they had, you know, a swimming pool and dancing every night, and you know, it was very, very nice. Then I took the train from Gary to Denver. Mother and Dad asked if I wanted some money, you know, to help me get by, and I said, oh no, Marlene will have money when I get there, and we'll get jobs, no problem. So she hadn't bothered getting a job, and she expected me to arrive with money, and I didn't have much money with me at all.
We had been out that afternoon, at least I had. I can't remember exactly what we had done, but we were getting ready for bed. It was 8:30, 9 o'clock. We were getting ready for bed and got invited to come over and check out this apartment with some more girls. I said, sure, let's go. So we did. We went over and visited this less than elegant, but nevertheless good apartment. I happened into the kitchen as she was making the coffee, and she's taking a spoon into the coffee pot, taking out a spoonful of huge coffee grounds.
Yeah, that was what we did. We'd take out 1 scoop of the old grounds and put in 1 scoop of new grounds. And that's how we kept the coffee going, because we didn't have much money, we didn't have much coffee. And at that point, Les saw what I was doing, and he let out this scream.
What are you doing? On Saturday afternoon, I called Marianne. Would you like to go out for a hamburger or something? To which she responded, yeah, can my roommate come along? Sure, I'd met Marlene same time, so that was fine. Then we went into the restaurant, and each of the girls ordered 2 hamburgers.
We were so hungry, and because we had each gotten jobs right away, but they don't pay you for 2 weeks when you go to work. So it took us 2 weeks before we each got a paycheck, and so we were really hungry.
I watched this in awe. And then they not only ate these hamburgers, they inhaled them.
I got a job for Standard Oil of California, doing whatever, and then it got closer to Thanksgiving time, and we knew some other people in town that were teachers, and they were getting Thanksgiving vacation, and they were going to get Christmas vacation, and I wasn't going to get any of those things. So on a Friday afternoon, I took off from my work and went over and applied for a teaching job, and I started the following Monday.
Oh my gosh.
Those were the days.
Those are the days. It was very easy. So I
So, I mean, you went right into a classroom?
right into a classroom. I think I had 32 students, and this was a second grade classroom. Heaven only knows, but I think everything went well.
They learned something.
Hopefully they learned something. And we got married the December of my second year of teaching.
Okay. We've just jumped from first hamburger to getting married.
Right.
Did anything happen between those two?
No.
We took up skiing. That's right. All of us were skiing together, and there was free classes offered at A Basin by the Denver Post. Had free,
No, Rocky Mountain News.
Rocky Mountain News, okay, had free lessons, and so we all took up skiing, and we went skiing every weekend, and it was just wonderful. There were a whole group of us that went, and we would stop at the Red Ram in Georgetown on the way home, and
Chug-a-lug beers.
had beer, and we really enjoyed it. We had a wonderful
Well,
time.
those were great weekends. We'd ski every Saturday,
Yeah.
and we pretty much tended to go to church. Pretty soon we were going to church together every Sunday.
Right.
Do you remember when you told your parents about that you were getting married?
Oh, right away.
Right away.
Right away.
You
We called
gave them a
them.
call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
called them. Yeah.
And
So-
you
Was that when Mother?
And that's when my mother said, you know, you don't need a lawyer, you need a dentist.
She didn't.
She was
She
right.
did. She did.
Ah.
And then we got married December 27th. Right.
Yeah. So,
Which is not a good time to get married, particularly in Gary, Indiana. Freezing cold. Who wants to go to Gary, Indiana 2 days after Christmas? You know, it was.
What were you thinking?
What were we thinking?
well, it was the one time of the year that
We both had
we
time
could
off.
get time off.
Yeah.
You know, she had 2 weeks off, so we